The year was 2008. Fort Bragg, North Carolina, a community built on discipline and duty, was about to be shaken by a discovery so gruesome it defied the military code of conduct. Erin Lee, a vibrant 24-year-old military wife, had been missing for months. Her husband, Specialist Christopher Lee, maintained a facade of concern, but the truth was buried deep in the desolate woods of Cumberland County. It was there, months after her disappearance, that a grim discovery was made: human remains, later identified as Erin. This wasn't a simple missing person case. This was murder, and the spotlight immediately turned to the man who claimed to love her most. How could a soldier, sworn to protect, commit such a heinous act against his own wife? The investigation began, starting with the man who reported her gone. From the moment Erin was officially declared missing, Christopher Lee became the prime suspect. His story was shaky, filled with inconsistencies. He claimed she had simply walked out, leaving her belongings behind. But investigators knew better. Statistically, in cases of domestic homicide, the spouse is the most likely perpetrator. Christopher was calm, perhaps too calm, during questioning. He played the role of the grieving husband perfectly, even participating in search efforts. Yet, the lack of genuine emotion, combined with his controlling behavior reported by Erin's friends, painted a suspicious picture. The pressure was mounting, but without a body or definitive physical evidence linking him directly to the scene, the case stalled. Christopher was a soldier, trained to compartmentalize, and he was using that training to evade justice. The initial investigation hit several red herrings. Christopher attempted to mislead authorities, suggesting Erin might have run off with another man or perhaps suffered from mental health issues. These were classic deflection tactics. But the police weren't fooled. They dug into the couple's history, finding a troubling pattern beneath the surface of their military marriage. Yet, the lack of a clear crime scene and the difficulty in processing the decomposed remains meant that key forensic evidence was missing or degraded. The case needed a definitive link, something that tied Christopher to the act of murder, not just the disposal of the body. For months, the investigation spun its wheels, allowing Christopher to walk free, protected by the lack of concrete evidence. As the investigation deepened, a darker narrative emerged: domestic abuse. Friends and family members came forward, detailing the controlling, manipulative, and sometimes violent behavior Christopher exhibited towards Erin. They described a relationship marked by fear and isolation. Erin had confided in others about wanting to leave, but the fear of retaliation kept her trapped. This established a critical motive: control and rage. The abuse wasn't just emotional, it was physical, leaving scars that were often hidden. While abuse history doesn't prove murder, it certainly explains the escalation. This crucial context shifted the narrative from a missing wife to a tragic case of domestic violence culminating in homicide, strengthening the prosecution's circumstantial argument. Despite the strong circumstantial evidence and the clear motive of domestic abuse, the case against Christopher Lee eventually went cold. Without the smoking gun, a confession, or undeniable physical evidence, prosecutors were hesitant to move forward. Christopher was discharged from the military and moved on with his life, seemingly escaping the consequences of his actions. Years passed. Erin's family continued their tireless advocacy, refusing to let her memory fade. The files were shelved, gathering dust, a painful reminder of justice denied. But in the world of true crime, cold cases are never truly closed. They just wait for the right moment, the right piece of technology, or the right witness to break the silence. The breakthrough came years later, thanks to the persistence of investigators and advancements in forensic science. The case was reopened, and detectives began re-interviewing old contacts, hoping that time had eroded the loyalty or fear that once kept people silent. This second look proved vital. New technology allowed for re-examination of the limited physical evidence found at the burial site. More importantly, the pressure applied to Christopher's associates finally yielded results. Someone close to him, who had perhaps helped him or simply known too much, decided that the burden of the secret was too heavy to bear. This new information provided the necessary leverage to move the case forward, transforming it from a cold file into a viable prosecution. The key to unlocking the case was the testimony of a crucial witness, a former friend of Christopher Lee. This witness revealed that Christopher had confessed details about the murder and the subsequent disposal of Erin's body. The testimony detailed how Christopher had planned the murder, likely during a violent argument, and then used his military knowledge to conceal the crime. This confession was the smoking gun the prosecution desperately needed. It corroborated the circumstantial evidence of abuse and motive, placing Christopher directly at the scene and confirming his guilt. The weight of this testimony was immense, painting a horrifying picture of calculated brutality and betrayal. The witness testimony also raised the possibility of an accomplice. While Christopher Lee was the primary perpetrator, the logistics of transporting and burying a body suggested he might not have acted entirely alone. The investigation explored whether another person, perhaps someone coerced or manipulated, assisted in the cover-up. While the focus remained heavily on Christopher, the specter of an accomplice added another layer of darkness to the crime, suggesting a wider circle of complicity and silence within the military community. This revelation underscored how deeply Christopher had planned to erase Erin, relying on others to help maintain his perfect soldier facade. In 2018, nearly a decade after Erin Lee's murder, Christopher Lee was finally brought to justice. Faced with overwhelming evidence, including the damning witness testimony, he pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. He was sentenced to 20 to 25 years in prison, a sentence that finally provided some measure of closure for Erin's devastated family. This case serves as a chilling reminder that appearances can be deceiving, and that even within institutions built on honor, darkness can reside. Erin Lee's story is a testament to the power of persistence, the refusal of a family and dedicated investigators to let a killer soldier walk free. Justice, though delayed, was ultimately served.